Hey, welcome back to Reddit Read Along. Today's story shows why you should listen when someone's trying to tell you something. Back in June 2020, OP was laid off of her job. She was given a 2-month notice, so she at least had time to try to find a new one. So she started applying around to different locations, and she found one that called her back to set up an interview. The interview was set up for the next day at 8 a.m. OP the next day shows up actually early. She shows up at 7:30. She was told by the recruiter to go ahead and park in the employee parking spaces and then come in once she gets there. So that's what OP did. She pulls in, she parks in the employee parking, and she gets out of her vehicle. And as soon as she gets out of her vehicle, she sees this guy in a suit and tie running up furious, yelling at her. She's confused by what's going on. He gets up to her. She calls him Angry Guy, but I want to call him Dick. So Dick runs up to her and says, "Where the have you been? You were supposed to be here at 7 a.m. So OP tried to tell him, well, I was told to be here at 8 a.m., but Dick cut her off before she could finish her sentence. The only thing she got out was, he cut her off and said, "I told you to be here by 7 a.m. OP once again, so confused by what's going on, tries to tell him the email said I should be here by 8 o'clock. But he cuts her off and says, "What? Are you stupid? We start at 7 a.m. You know what? Get out of here. You're fired." OP realizes, oh, he thinks I'm someone else. He doesn't realize I'm someone here for an interview. So she tries to tell him, oh, I think there's a misunderstanding. But of course, Dick cut her off again. "I said, get out, you're fired." OP, of course, is upset at this point and just annoyed at Dick. And so she just yells, "Hey, I don't work for you." And of course, Dick, being a dick, actually replies back, "Well, of course you don't. I just fired you." OP, this time able to get a sentence off, says, "I don't work for you. I've never worked for you in the first place." Dick, once again not realizing he's making a mistake, says, "Of course not. This was supposed to be your first day and you showed up late and now you're fired." So at this point, OP was just sick of dealing with him, and so she was getting to her car to go ahead and just leave, because who would want to work at a place where this might be your manager? So she goes ahead and hops in her car, but as she's about to pull out, two other people come out. One is the recruiter, and the other one's actually the CEO of the business. They could hear all the yelling that was going on from inside the building. So they come up, they ask, "What's going on?" Dick, Dick, still confused, says, "This lazy bum came in on his first day 30 minutes late." That's when the CEO says, 30 minutes late? That's unacceptable. What's your name? So OP tells him her name, and that's when the recruiter's like, "Oh yeah, you have an interview today. You're here early." That's when Dick jumps in again and says, "Here early? No, she's late. And she's fired." The recruiter's like, "No, she's not. She's here for an interview, so you can't fire her. She was actually here to interview for the position on your team." Dick yells out, "Then why is she here parking in the employee parking spaces?" The recruiter chimes back, "Because I told her to. Her appointment was at 8 a.m. But we can go ahead and start now if you like to, OP. OP, of course, at this point was like, "With all due respect, I don't want to work here. Not if there's a chance that he could be my manager." The recruiter, of course, was apologetic, tried to get OP to go ahead and stay and do the interview. But once again, OP was like, "No, I'm good. I'll stay in touch with you, but I don't want to do the interview right now." The recruiter replies back with, "Of course you wouldn't. I completely understand. And believe us, we're going to take care of this." So OP leaves. A few days later, she actually gets called about another job with another company. And she does end up getting that job, which she really loves. When she called back to the original recruiter, she let her know that, "Hey, I already found a job. You can go ahead and cancel the interview. I don't need it anymore." And the recruiter let her know that they did take care of the situation with Dick, and that he is no longer with the company. Apparently, it wasn't just this situation that got him fired. Or moral of the story, at least get somebody's name before you yell and curse at them, because this is something that could have easily been avoided. Like, what if this was someone who was hired on someone else's team, and you just ran up and yelled and cussed at them like this? Like, I wouldn't want to work at this place either. Also, maybe let somebody finish their sentences before you butt in and make an a-hole of yourself. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. And whether you're watching it on YouTube or TikTok, I appreciate you stopping by. Come back next time for another story.